So I randomly was thinking, don't mind me just having a meal. I just randomly was thinking about evolution, humanity, the regular shit that I do. I'm just kind of wondering, like, why humanity hasn't really evolved. Like, when you really genuinely think about it, over the past who knows how many years, humanity hasn't really done a whole lot of evolving. Sure, we've advanced a lot of our technology, we've made tons of advancements. Our structures that we build, our technological advancements, our healthcare, say what you want about the healthcare system, but the technology we have for the people who can't afford it is phenomenal. These crazy surgeries and all these procedures and blah, blah, blah. Our technological advancement is through the roof as far as we can take it, but the actual evolution of our mindset as a species, overall, as a whole, has been pretty much stunted for the past 1,000 years. We still have the same mindset, the same emotional capability as someone from the Rome ages, and that just doesn't really sit right with me. You would think that after all this time, that the evolution of our mindset, the evolution of our emotional capability, the evolution of our, I don't know, spirit, for lack of a better term, would have evolved. You'd think in 2024, people would be a lot more tolerant. We'd have a lot less war, a lot less crime, a lot more overall happiness for our species. But it seems like more and more people are more miserable. People are a lot more miserable. People are a lot more unhappy. We've started to, well, not started to, but we've been worshiping money and monetary gains like it's some kind of deity. It's one of the biggest problems I think that humanity has in general, is that we worship money like it's some kind of god, which is always going to run into nothing but problems. But the emotional capabilities of humanity has not really exceeded past where we just kind of started off as. Yeah, sure, you and I have more emotional capability than a caveman, but a Roman? No. And that was a long time ago. And it just kind of shows where we put our attention, where we put our energy. For example, someone who puts their attention and energy into, let's just say, books, you're going to be a very different person than someone who puts their attention and energy into, I don't know, sports. Now, I'm not saying either one of those are bad, one is better than the other, but you're focusing your energy on something different. If you focus everything on your physical attributes, you will be highly evolved physically, but there is also a certain level of mental, emotional development that a lot of people just kind of stop doing at a certain point in time. Pretty much once you get out of high school or college or whatever, graduate school, whatever your highest level of learning is, whether you just went to high school and that's it, or you dropped out of high school, I don't know, or maybe you went to 2 years of college like I did and just kind of stopped, or you went for the full 4 years and you got your degree, or you went to graduate school and got your doctor's or master's or PhD or whatever. Once you're done with the formal schooling, learning, or whatever that you're required to do to get to whatever stage you want to be at, you see a very big drop off. I'm not saying for everybody. Obviously, that's not true. I'm not going to generalize that like that. But for a lot of people, your intake of knowledge, your intake of development just kind of starts to slowly decline, because you don't have to anymore. You don't have to study to get your PhD. You already have it. You need to maintain what you know to keep your job. No one really intakes more knowledge. No one really intakes new thought processes. You're kind of stuck in your ways. And that is a very big problem with humanity, is once most humans get to a certain point of their development, they just stop developing. Now, if you look at the animal kingdom, it's kind of a different story. Yes, most animals do stop their physical development at a certain point in time, just like every other species. Well, species, but you know what I mean. Animal kingdom, human kingdom, it's the same thing. We're all animals. Fight me if you want to, but whatever, it's true. But anyway, when you look at what we define as animals, you know, tigers, lions, bears, whatever, yes, their physical development does stop just like ours, but they are constantly learning and adapting due to the conditions that they live in. Now, stay with me. You could say, okay, you know, a bear does the same thing. You know, I can outsmart a bear, blah, 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 blah. Of course you can, because you have higher brain processing power. Just by default, you can outsmart a bear given time and prep and blah, 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 of course. But what I mean is they live in nature. They don't have homes like we do. A bear does not wake up and take a shower in their, you know, diamond encrusted shower, you know. They live in nature, and nature is always constantly changing, day to day, really. And so are they by default, because they wouldn't be able to survive if they weren't constantly evolving. Maybe not in such obvious ways, but they do, and they are, even today. I'm not saying that comfort is a bad thing for humanity, God no, because Lord knows I'm not living without air conditioning. I'm not living without, you know, hot meals and showers, but they have an advantage over us in that they're highly adaptable. They're the reason the animals have been able to survive all the stuff that we've done to them, because they're built different. They're adaptable. The comforts that humanity has built for itself has kind of made us get caught lacking. You know what I mean? If you were to throw a human out into the wild, how would you survive without really, and I'm not saying, you know, one of those survival gurus you see or whatever. I mean just a regular average Joe who works at 7-Eleven or something. Throw that man out in the wild with no survival, no gear, no nothing, and ask him to survive like 2 weeks with no help. You're probably gonna die. You're not gonna be able to really survive. And the evolution of animals is such a jump on us that the only thing that keeps us going is the comforts that we have. If there's like a worldwide EMP blackout that has completely obliterated all of our tech and we couldn't recover it, humanity would be fucked overnight. And that's just kind of crazy to me when you really think about it. But that's also still like a physical, you know, evolutionary thing. What I'm talking about is a lot more mental, a lot more emotional. Because I have a theory. Sorry, I'm still eating. I have a theory. The one thing that separates us from animals is awareness. Animals have a very limited level of awareness. A cat can recognize another cat, but it doesn't know what a cat is. A cat does not know what a cat is. It only knows what it is, and it can recognize others of its species. It knows that I'm this creature, and I know other creatures like me, and then I know other creatures not like me, but it does not know itself, you know? Humans do. We know what we are and the differences between what we are, what another of our species is, and then something that is not of our species. And that's pretty incredible. And I think that's the point of humanity, is to be the awareness of itself from the perspective of itself, which sounds kind of like a loop, but if you know, you know. It's like the point of humanity, I don't think, is really to develop all these luxuries and all these physical attributes. I really think that we are like, you know, the shepherds, more or less, of the new emotional development, because every animal before us just couldn't comprehend itself, you know, and then humans come along. We're able to distinguish myself from something else. You know, I can look at things and describe them in detail. Animals can't do that. They don't have the mental capacity. I'm not saying we're doing our lives wrong. I have a lot of opinions, but nothing can really be defined as wrong. But I will say that we're definitely misguided and misjudged in where we throw our intentions at, you know. Everyone claims that we want world peace. Everyone claims that we want everyone to be happy and free and et cetera, et cetera. But the intentions don't line up with that. You know, we say we want world peace and we want everyone to be happy and equal and free, but pretty much every action that humanity as a whole, and I put myself in this whole, you know, the actions we perform go directly contrast with that statement. We want world peace, but we're constantly fighting with each other. We want everyone to be free, but we don't allow people to be free. You know, and it's just kind of funny that we keep peddling this same story to ourselves, like that's what we want, but we don't align with that. No one really truly does when it comes down to the wire, myself included. You know, people are selfish. I'm selfish. That's just kind of what we're about. And I think the emotional evolution of humanity is to become way less selfish and to just become a more emotionally mature species. Because like I mentioned before earlier in the video, we've advanced a lot. We've advanced very far, but advancement and evolution are two totally separate things. Our advancement is unparalleled, untouched. Clearly, just look at the setting. I'm talking on an electronic brick uploaded over the internet. That's a concept an animal could never possibly fathom or replicate as their current state is. But emotional evolution, humanity is severely stunted. And that is kind of the point. The point of humanity is emotional evolution, and it just seems to be the thing that no one ever fucking bothers to like do. And that's why we have these wars, that's why we have our famines, that's why we have cancer, it's why we bomb random countries, you know, and it's just kind of crazy. We've just kind of forgotten the point. Emotional evolution is literally the point of humanity, and it is the last thing that anyone ever bothers with because we're so stuck on all the physical material stuff. We're stuck on our jobs, we're stuck on the money, we're stuck on, you know, going to Starbucks, we're stuck on, you know, TikTok. We're stuck on so many outside physical things that we just kind of forgot the point of emotional evolution, which is the purpose of humanity, to evolve ourselves emotionally to the point where we are masters of our emotions. Mastery over emotions does not mean blocking your emotions. It doesn't mean having no emotions. It just simply means processing stuff at such a high level without letting it affect you. Emotional evolution is literally feeling anger and processing it very quickly, feeling sadness and processing it very quickly, feeling jealousy and processing it very quickly. It is not the absence of emotion. It is not having them. That's ignorant if you really think about it. You're an emotional being. Emotions are your power, but you can't let that power overrun you, because at the end of the day, you aren't your emotions. But I think that's kind of the point, is to have emotional power. And if you kind of just look at like the top 5 people you know, how many of them are really emotionally stable? How many of them can have really shaking circumstances and still be solid and not allowed to overtake them? Humans get overwhelmed very quickly, which goes to show that we still aren't emotionally mature. I think once, maybe not everybody, because that would be a lot. I don't think the entire species has to do it. But I think once enough humans on the planet get to that emotional maturity, that emotional evolution, that is our purpose, I think something will happen. I don't know what happens, but I think something will happen. I don't know if God's gonna come back out of the sky and be like, congratulations on to level 2, who knows? But I think as a human being, you know, talking to other human beings, I feel like I would kind of be doing a disservice if I didn't share what I believe with my fellow human beings, whether people agree with it or not. I think emotional availability is the purpose. Emotional evolution is the purpose of humanity. And I think the more we focus on emotional evolution, the more enlightened we'll feel, the less lost we'll feel on this planet, the more connected we'll feel with the universe, you know? And I think, you know, just passing that on is what I should do. So I'm doing it. But yeah, let me know if you think I'm crazy. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you're like, you're a crackpot, cool. But yeah, you know, I think emotional evolution is the point. I've gone through a lot of things in my life, a lot of stages, and nothing ever really clicked as to why I felt like I was here, why I felt like this was going on. I had so many questions and no one could ever answer them. I just kind of had to start looking for answers on my own, looking for answers to questions that no one can answer, you know? And this is what I came up with. Emotional power is the destiny of humanity. And the more we spread that message, the further we'll be pushed along whatever cosmic highway it is that we're supposed to be driving on. Because right now we're pulled over on the fucking curb and we got a flat tire, and we gotta get humanity back on track, you know. So let me know what y'all think. If y'all think I'm crazy, cool. If y'all are like, oh, you know, I agree with you, also cool. But that's the end of the video. So I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Deuces.